Now, I'm going to show you why we know that he couldn't have been suspended right here. And just to be clear, the FBI used these pictures to show to the medical examiner to say this is what the way things were set up. So this is not and should not be changed at all from exactly the way it looked when this happened. Now, I started wondering, how do we measure this? Because it just doesn't look like that much space. I was like, how could he have possibly been suspended in this small amount of space? And he wasn't in some sort of weird bobsled position or some sort of angle. He is described as being vertically straight up and down. All of that aside, I wanted to figure out how we can figure out the distance to this piece of fabric right here, because it just doesn't seem that long. And I realized we've got cinder blocks right here, and cinder blocks are a standard size, including grout, they're 8 inches. So we know exactly how high this is. If you recall, I pointed out that little gray band at the bottom that's approximately 2 inches. Well, now we're going to go through and calculate exactly how high up this piece of fabric is right here. And I mentioned earlier, this potential noose, they still don't know whether or not this was it, but this would add another inch or two to all of that we just saw. So after one brick, we're at 10, then 18, 26, 34, and 42 inches. So we know for sure these are very standard sizes. This is most definitely correct as far as how high up this piece of fabric is. Now, the average man, the part of his neck where the ligature would have been, because we've seen pictures of Epstein, the ligature was way up there. It would have been approximately around 30 inches, give or take. If you pulled this down, it would probably be pulled down all the way to 24 inches. And then you add that noose that we saw earlier, that's another couple of inches on top of any looseness from the noose as well, because this was a knot that was fairly loose. We would be going all the way down to about 18 inches, if not lower. It would have been impossible with this piece of fabric right here and the noose we saw earlier. That could not have suspended somebody with the setup that we've been given. It just couldn't have. And if he was not suspended, then that means the medical examiner's findings are incorrect, because the medical examiner talked about all of the various things in the neck that were crushed. The trachea was pushed to the back of the neck. There are all of these things that are related to pressure that wouldn't happen if it was a simple asphyxiation. So the fact that he was suspended is extremely relevant to everything else. He would have had to have been suspended for the medical examiner's report to make any sense. And if he wasn't suspended, then everything that we know about how he died is wrong.